Hey, what's up everyone? This is Dr. Aaron Horschig here with SquatUniversity. Today I'm joined by my training partner Evan, and we're going to go over the proper front squat. Now, if you guys check out our article on SquatUniversity.com, we're going to go over the entire way to perform a proper front squat. This is the demonstration video that's going to go along with the article. So, first, the proper setup is how we're going to get into a good squat. So, I want him to start with his hands at about shoulder height. A lot of times inexperienced athletes will set the bar too high in the rack, and then it'll force them to get on their tippy toes to be able to take the bar out of the rack, which when the weight gets heavy can lead to an injury. So with the weight at about shoulder height, he's then going to pull himself under the bar and establish our good rack position. Now from right here, let's bring the camera over here. We're going to think about pushing the chest up and driving the elbows up at the same time. A lot of times people will just think elbows up, but if you also drive the chest through the ceiling and take a big breath, it will also help this weight feel a lot lighter on your chest. From here, to unrack the weight properly, we're going to take a breath, drive with our knees and hips, and stand straight up. Notice how Evan, let's bring this camera a little bit closer, Evan's able to take a full grip on this bar. Now some people, based on their mobility of their upper back, their elbows and wrists, they may not be able to take a full grip on the bar, and that's okay. They can have an open fist on this as long as the elbows stay up. Often athletes will try so hard to keep an open fist or a closed fist that their elbows will drop. Now this places a lot of harmful forces on the elbow, which can eventually lead to injury and pain. So we want the elbows and chest to stay up. We took our big breath and unracked the weight. We're then going to take 3 steps back. Okay, we're going to establish our stance width. Now, like we talked about last week, every single athlete will have a slightly different stance width based on their anatomy and their mobility profile. Okay? Now, Evan has a fairly straightforward foot position. Based on his anatomy, that's what works best for him to allow him to squat to full depth. Some people will have to turn their toes out slightly with a barbell squat, and that's okay. What we're going to look at is if we took an x-ray view of his foot, he would be in a good tripod foot position. He's got a nice stable arch. When we have a good stable foot, it allows the rest of our body to move with good technique because from the bottom, just like a house of cards, it's built with a stable foundation. So from here, we have our chest up, our elbows up. He's going to take a big breath and hold it like someone's going to punch him right in the stomach. This is going to allow him to create a good stable core, which is going to support his back and keep his upper torso in a good rigid position to keep his chest high and the bar right over the middle of his foot. From here, this is where a lot of people go wrong. The front squat still requires a hip hinge like the rest of our squats. This engages our posterior chain, which is our glutes and our hamstrings, the powerhouse to our body. This is where we're able to perform a lot of powerful movements if we engage this properly. So he's going to set his hips back slightly and then squat down. Notice this isn't a huge hip hinge. If he tried to squat with a huge hip hinge like we do with a back squat, the bar is going to tip forward and now it's over our toes. We want to keep the bar over the middle of our foot the entire squat so we're in balance and we're able to use our muscles efficiently. So it's a slight hip hinge to engage the hips, the bar's over the middle of his foot, and he's able to squat down. Just like that. Now, let me show you what happens when you do this wrong. If you squat and the knees move forward first, like that, eventually, we're going to overload the knees so much that it can cause a lot of pain. So we always want to, even with a front squat, engage the hips. Except with a front squat, unlike the back squat, it is a very slight hip hinge. Okay? He's then going to squat down. The bar stays over the middle of his foot. Good. From here, he's going to drive up using the hips, but still keeping the chest up. If he drove up with the hips so much and the back stayed flat, let's show that. So you're going to squat down, okay, drive up with the hips, but keep your chest over. Now there, the bar is now over his toes, and we're inefficiently using our muscles. So the bar stays over the midfoot, we drive up with the hips, but keep the chest up. That's how you perform the perfect front squat. Hope this was an informative video, and we'll talk to you guys next time. Thanks.